We've talked about small claims court before, and so I wanted to take a minute and just talk about litigation in general or lawsuits in general, and maybe some of the differences as to when a case can be resolved in small claims and when you might have to take it to the next step, the trial court. And most states call that district court, but some states call it superior court, some states call it the circuit court. It doesn't matter. The same basic idea, the place where you get your trial. Um, Sometimes the states are going to limit which kinds of cases can be heard in small claims, and sometimes those are just going to be limited by how much how much is in dispute, and so you might be forced to go to a district court. The main difference in a district court versus small claims is you as a company, if you take a case to district court or to the trial court, or if somebody sues your company and you have to defend it and fight it, if it's in that kind of a court, you don't usually have the option to represent the company yourself. You have to hire an attorney. And that's why a lot of times, if possible, we try to get cases resolved outside of court or through small claims because it's much cheaper, it's much faster, and even if you want, you can represent yourself. But in the trial court, it could take several years to get a case fully resolved if you had to fight it all the way. It could cost tens of thousands of dollars, but before you're done. And there's still no more guarantee in a trial than there is in small claims courts. So, um, to me, the biggest situation as to why you go to one kind of a court or another is really strategy and your long-term objective. And that's one of the things that I really like working on with my clients is to figure out what's their strategy, what's the objective in filing or fighting a case, to make sure that all of those priorities are being handled, not just simply, hey, this is a principle, hey, this is an emotion, but that we consider all angles, the strengths, the weaknesses, the finances, the time, the stress, all of those different factors. And for a lot of my clients, I usually sit down with them at the beginning, before we decide to move forward with a case. And I have a whiteboard in one of my offices, or sometimes I do it virtually. But we kind of outline what the process looks like so that everybody's on the same page from the beginning. And we usually do it several times throughout because there are multiple times when we have decisions to make as it regards to the ongoing strategy. So I hope that you never have to go through that process because it stinks and it's stressful and it's expensive. But if you have to, or if somebody else brings that fight to you, then definitely reach out. I'm happy to chat. And, there's not usually any fee associated with just walking through options and kind of like we're doing now. So reach out and we're happy to chat and see what we can do to help figure out some resolutions that are practical and financial, to make sure that you can focus on what makes sense in your business.